And a very good morning. It is a Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024, and we are here with Street Level America Morning, SLA Mornings. Normally we drop the show at 9 a.m., but we've got a meeting at 9:30, so we wanted to drop the show a little bit earlier today. You can listen to it on tape delay on some of our platforms: Facebook, YouTube, X, Rumble, and Telegram. You know, there's a lot going on in America today. A lot. We could talk for 5 hours about everything going on, but let's talk about some of the high points. The drones. The drones flying over New Jersey. Now, I believe that the reason those drones are flying there is because in the waning days of the Biden administration, they believe that if they do it now, that they can get away with it. Let me turn up the level here on the volume. Sorry about that. That they can get away with it with the Joe Biden administration because when Donald Trump comes into the White House, there's a new sheriff in town. He's going to shoot him down. I think we need to bring down some of those drones because it shows a sign of weakness to Russia and China. I think if you shoot down those drones, they're going to say made in China on them. And even if they're not Chinese drones, it's sending a very bad message to China and Russia and all of the hostile nation states that really want to infiltrate and spy on America and eventually take it down. You can fly spy balloons across America. You can fly drones anywhere. And we're not going to do anything about it. We'll just look up at the sky and say, oh, I wonder what those are. We're going to have some video about that here in just a moment. It sends a very, very, very bad message. It sends a message of weakness. And in the hostile state that the world is today, we cannot afford to send that message of weakness. I think Americans are getting sick and tired of having a weak, ineffectual government in Washington, D.C. Now, this is going to kind of age me and maybe age some of you, but remember it was on Funny Books. There was an ad showing a young person, a young, real skinny boy being beaten up by a bully on the beach, and the bully was kicking sand at the boy, and the boy eventually got bulked up and worked out, and eventually he punched the bully and kicked the bully down. Okay? America right now is that skinny boy that is being picked on the beach by the bully. But come January 20th, that boy's going to bulk up and he's going to push back. That's Donald Trump coming into the White House. That's a new sheriff in town. I'm not trying to be overly critical of Joe Biden, but come on, man. What do we... At what point does America say enough? You're not going to send spy balloons over us, and you're not going to send drones over us. We can't just stand here and sit here and say, oh, I wonder what those are. FBI tells Congress, we don't know what they are.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity over that part of New Jersey.
Okay, at some point somebody's got to take charge and say, enough. These things are flying over America. They're taking and gathering intelligence. Talk about a security breach. Some of these drones are as large as a kitchen table, some as large as a bus. This has got to stop. All right. We have video footage here from the Daily Caller about what the drones actually look like. If you haven't seen it on the news reels yet, here it is what it looks like.
Sledding hill. That thing is enormous. We've got flight aware up so we can see which ones are planes. Look over this way. Those are not all planes at all. See how fast that one's moving? That's not a plane. That one's not a plane. Still see the green one? I gotta zoom out. Across the street, there's gonna be too many lights. Look over towards, oh, right there, you can see it in the trees. That's not a plane. That one's moving so fast.
And these two are hovering.
Yeah.
Okay. How many drones are there up there?
Back straight above urgent care.
No
1,
video
2,
on this
3,
one.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay, so this witness is counting 22 drones in the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 22. And we don't know what they are. I believe you shoot them down, they're going to say made in China all over them. And even if they're not Chinese, what I just said a moment ago, send a bad message to China. Hey, you can do whatever you want to America. They're not going to do anything about it. What is the White House saying? Karine Jean-Pierre.
A couple questions about drones. There have been repeated drone sightings in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. These are not small drones, some of them pretty large. They're flying at low altitudes, they're flying in flocks. Has the president been briefed on this situation?
So we are certainly aware, the president is aware. So we're closely tracking the activity and coordinating closely with relevant agency, including DHS and FBI, to continue to investigate these incidents. Don't have anything beyond that to share. Obviously, this is something that DHS and FBI are tracking very, very closely, and so I would have to refer you to them directly, but aware. Keeping an eye out and looking into the incidents that you just mentioned.
Okay, KJP is a poster child of unaccountability in the federal government. Talk to the FBI. We just saw the video. FBI said, we don't know what they are. The White House is saying, first base. Talk to somebody else. We don't know what they are. Okay, KJP, are these drones from a hostile government?
Still, though, but has the federal government ruled out that these are controlled by foreign entities?
Yeah.
And do you know if they're conducting surveillance over these
So
areas?
I cannot make any kind of predictions or comments about that specifically from here. This is something that DHS is looking at and FBI, so I would have to refer you to them. I don't have anything beyond that. We're tracking this very closely. Obviously, we're all aware of the incidents that have been reported. I'm not going to go into what they could be or could not be from here. That is something that obviously is being looked at as those respective agencies that I mentioned.
When was the president briefed on this?
I don't have a timeline, but he certainly has been made aware of this.
Okay, I don't have a timeline. I don't know what's going on. Doge, we either need to get a press secretary who can give us an answer, who could just say, well, I don't know, talk to them. I just don't know what's going on. You want to save money in the federal government, fire her, because CNN and MSNBC do a better job of acting as government spokesman than their own hired mouth, Karine Jean-Pierre, ever did. For 4 years, we've been saying, well, I just don't know. You've seen it on TV. I've seen it on TV. Next question. At least she doesn't say circle back like her predecessor did. All right, story number 2. Daniel Penny found innocent. He was a self-defense. There was many witnesses on that New York subway that fateful day, and when Joseph Neely was killed. We're going to take look at a few videos on this particular story. But Fox News had an exclusive interview with Judge Janine Pirro talking to Daniel Penny on why he held Penny in a chokehold.
What in you caused you to want to get involved?
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
All right. So we have a young man here. Hey, I don't want the limelight. I don't want the attention. I don't want the book deals. I don't want to sue anybody. I just couldn't live with myself if something had happened to these good people on the subway, and so I just did something about it. All right. Let's take a look at a video from the chokehold incident. Now, there are a lot of people, we'll watch some videos here in just a moment. There are some people, protesters, trying to turn this into a race issue. Oh, it's another example of the white man going after the black man. It's just business as usual in America. You can just go out and choke any man of color you find. No. Look at this video. It's a short video. There is actually a man of color helping Daniel Penny.
Ellen Sanchez calling
Look at that,
911
right there. See
after
there?
seeing everything go down on that uptown.
That was a very short video piece, but you actually saw a man of color who is helping hold down Joseph Neely. All right? All right, let's take a look at another video clip here. We can get down to it. Here is a protester saying that it's business as usual of America, that we need to do something, that oppression is still in large and in play in America, that basically that all black men are in danger to being killed by all whites, and the black vigilantes need to rise up and do something about it.
This case is about Jordan Neely deserving to die. And unfortunately, white America wishes, a lot of parts of white America wishes that we all would die. That's why they support cops who kill us. That's why they support civilians who kill us. That's why they support systems that oppress us. This is America, America Inc. This is business as usual for America. For 7 weeks without incident. Forget about it ain't until the racists show up.
Okay, all right. So we have their side of the story. Everybody's a backseat driver. We're gonna watch a bit from The View here in just a moment. We weren't on that subway. There is person after person after person saying, I felt threatened. This man came in and said I was going to have a bad day. Somebody's going to die today. I don't care if I go to jail. I don't care if I go to prison. In an enclosed subway, Daniel Penny, you just saw the video footage. I'm just trying to protect people. I'm just trying to help people. But city officials have allowed crime to just get out of control, and people simply don't feel safe in their large cities because there are no consequences for the commission of crime. There was a, let's see, we pull up the video here. Okay, let's go to The View. Let's see. Oh, where did we go here? Sorry about that. We lost the video. Okay, here is Daniel Penny. This is what we're looking for. Saying that city officials are responsible for allowing crime in our big cities.
These public officials would do something so self-serving.
But how does it serve them to hurt you?
Just political gain. I mean, these are their policies that are, and I don't mean to get political. I don't really want to make any enemies, really, although I guess I have already. But I mean, these are their policies that have clearly not worked, that the people, the general population, are not in support of, yet their egos are too big just to admit that they're wrong.
All right, this is a young man saying, hey, I'm just riding the subway. I'm just concerned that people are going to get hurt today. And so I did something. I'm sorry the guy died. I don't want any money. I don't want any attention. I don't want anything to happen to these people. If it did, I just couldn't live with myself. Now, there's two issues that happen, two unrelated stories that are somewhat related. In the Daniel Penny verdict, that he is innocent of the chokehold of Neely, who died. And then there's the execution of a United Healthcare executive. And people are saying that Daniel Penny needs to be held out to dry. There are some people saying that Daniel Penny shouldn't come to New York City. We should hunt him down and kill him. And then there are some people so upset with the healthcare system in America that they're applauding the killing of a healthcare executive. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He had a family. But Americans are getting sick and tired, and Americans are being put at risk of dying themselves because the healthcare companies are simply totally engrossed in making money, and that's their main objective. They don't care about people. Here's what The View had to say as they took a look at both of these stories combined.
Yesterday, ex-Marine Daniel Penny was acquitted on all charges in the chokehold death of homeless, mentally ill man named Jordan Neely on a New York subway last May. Now, Penny's defense was that he was de-escalating the situation after Neely threatened other commuters. And he celebrated the verdict with his lawyer while Neely's family was mourning the loss. Take a look.
My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. I had enough of this. The system is rigged.
Jordan came on that subway car. The first thing he asked for was food, and he was killed. And the person who killed him was not held responsible. We cannot allow this to keep happening.
Oh, how's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Were you surprised?
No, we think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the important thing is it happened. So we can't control the timing of it, but you can certainly savor the outcome.
So, there's been polarizing reaction to this verdict as well. I don't know. I don't know that seeing them celebrating in a bar made me comfortable. You know? I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you take the celebration home. You don't do it outside. But that's just me. Don't listen to anything I say.
Yeah.
But what and people are conflicted because he was an ill man, and the more information we're learning about him now, turns out his mom had been murdered, and that may have been what set him off on his mental path.
Yeah. Well, that's what his family is saying.
That's what they're saying. And so
he was on New York City's top 50 list of homeless people with urgent care for help.
And so, you know, there's failure all over here. There's failure of the system, failure of, failure on the part of the courts, failure on the part of the hospitals, and failure on our part and how we deal with this. Because
I think it's a tragedy that Neely is dead today, but I do not think that the villain is Daniel Penny. I think it is the city of New York who repeatedly fails people who could be a danger to themselves and others. And as you mentioned, he was on this list. He had previously assaulted a woman, committed some minor offenses, petty crimes, but he was somebody who I can say I've been on the subway and felt unsafe. People that I've talked to on our staff have been on the subway and felt unsafe. And my only criticism of Penny is, could you have not let go sooner? Because I don't want, what I don't want though is good guys. My husband is the guy who, if he saw some people are afraid, he would step in and do something. I don't want people to be afraid to help their neighbors. A woman testified who was on the subway train. She shielded her kid because she was afraid. You need people to be able to do that, but you need to also be careful of stopping short. And I want to mention, he is a Marine. I have a lot of dear friends who are Marines. It is in their nature to want to protect people.
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. The Fox interview with Judge Jeanine Pirro, Daniel Penny talked about that. Why didn't you let him go? Why did you hold him for so long? Why didn't you release your chokehold on him? And Daniel Penny told Jeanine Pirro, I was on my back. If you look at the video, you see that. Daniel Penny was on his back. And so if he let Neely up, Neely could have flipped right over, pulled a knife, and just started stabbing Daniel Neely. Neely said, I was in a vulnerable position. I'm there on my back. I let him go. He gets up, turns around. I'm laying there on my back, and he's going to come after me. So that's why he didn't let go, according to Daniel Penny. So we need to take a look at all sides of the story here. As far as what Whoopi Goldberg about saying that there's a lot of people at fault here, the city of New York needs to have more resources for mentally ill. We understand that. for people that go off unhinged. Speaking of unhinged, we're going to talk about another story. Somebody goes off unhinged, prints a ghost gun with a 3D printer, and goes on a killing spree, not a killing spree, but a execution mission to execute the chief executive officer for United Healthcare. Some people are celebrating that. We'll take a look at that in the next video. But back to the subway. So a guy comes onto the subway. I'm having a bad day. I'm going to kill somebody. I don't care who dies. I don't care if I go back to prison. So you're there with your kid in an enclosed subway train. This guy comes up. You're not going to think, oh boy, he had a bad childhood. I'm sure his mother, I bet there was an instance in his past. You don't know that. All you know is what's going on in front of you. This guy comes in, threatens everybody on the subway, and person after person after person says they thank the Marine for standing up and doing something about it to save the others. They're not going to backseat drive it. They're not going to say, oh, you know what? I think he's just having a bad day. No, you have to deal with what's going on with, you don't know the backstory of this guy. You just know that he's coming on there and he's going to threaten harm to you and your kids, and you're scared. And you don't know him from anybody. But, so you got to react. Police officers run into this all the time. They have to make a split-second decision. I've never been a police officer, but when you're confronted with that situation, shoot or not shoot, what do? You have a second to decide, and your next decision is going to depend on whether or not you survive the day. You have to make decisions based on what you know at that time, and I think that's what Daniel Penny did, and some people are calling him a hero. I think he was. It's a bad thing that Jordan Neely died. I grieve for the family. I get it. I understand. He was having a meltdown. But, man, you go onto Subway and you start threatening people, bad things are going to happen to you because there could be a Marine there that's going to stop you. And if you're having drugs in your system or whatever, you might end up being the one that dies. So, granted, he may have been on drugs. Granted, he may not have been in his right mind. But there are consequences for bad actions. You do that, and it could be a bad day for you. Let's change gears here and talk about a related story. The healthcare executive being gunned down by a young man who came from a very wealthy family, who had a back surgery, pain. He targeted the United Healthcare system and the chief executive, saying that these people, these parasites, have to pay for inflicting harm on America. Some people are celebrating. Piers Morgan has a talk with one of those persons and saying, basically, you know, it's a bad thing that the guy died, but the shooting is justified.
Just agree on those two facts.
I disagree.
Let's move to the other story because Taylor's been waiting patiently here. So this issue of Brian Thompson, one of the top healthcare executives in the country, I'm just curious why your first reaction would be to his cold-blooded execution. And people wonder why we want these executives dead. And then you later commented when people were giving you a lot of blowback, I'm not alone, you said. Healthcare executive down with party balloons was on a next post that you commented on. Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you know, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, you know, because it feels like...
Serious?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Thousands of Americans that be murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
Well, why not?
And
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the
You seem to
system.
find the whole thing
system-
hilarious.
I find your question
A
funny.
bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving health care from people.
Okay, so Americans are very upset about health care. I'm upset about health care. I don't like the fact that when I go to an emergency room, I'm going to get billed for $3,000. I don't like that at all. I work hard for my money. I work hard. But am I going to take a gun and am I going to go shoot the emergency room doctor because he's paying too much bill? Am I going to shoot the clerk at the emergency room because she's checking me in because the healthcare bill is going to be too bad? Am I going to go and shoot an insurance executive because back in the day, 30 years ago, I paid $35 a month for Blue Cross of Oregon for my family, for an entire family, 2 kids, my wife and myself, $35. Now it's like $1,500. Am I going to go shoot somebody because of that? I don't think so. So that is not the answer to the question. That is not how we solve the problem. We solve the problem by saying, okay, there's a problem. And we need to fix it. I think a big way that we're going to fix it is we need to change leadership in Washington, D.C. That's been done. We have Donald Trump going back into the White House. He's not perfect, but man, we need to get somebody in there who's not going to test the political wind about everything he says. Says we need to fix these things. We need to put people to work. We need to put more money in Americans' pockets, and we need to fix. There's a lot of things in America we need to fix. We've got a website up called fixmyhealthcare.net, and we want to talk to people about how we fix the healthcare system. America arguably has the best health care in the world, but people can't afford it. And people are getting so frustrated with that in America that they're justifying the broad daylight execution in New York, shooting him in the back of a health insurance executive. Wow. I agree with Piers Morgan. I don't think it's justified. Is there a problem? Absolutely. Do we need to fix it? Absolutely. Do we need to shoot somebody in the back because we haven't fixed it today? No way. This guy had a family. And according to the manifesto, he was targeted on that day in New York because they were going to an investment meeting to talk about how to make more money. And so to further capitalize on the pain and suffering of the American people, to continue to suck money out of them, invest it, and make more money for the chief executive officers. According to the manifesto, the shooter saying that, oh, it's a bad thing and I'm really sorry, but the parasites have to be taken care of. They have to answer for this. We need to realize that people are getting very, very upset with issues in America, top of which is the cost of health care and the inability of health care and people that are not getting health care because they simply can't afford it. It's something we need to fix. And I think we're coming to a critical mass point where people are celebrating the broad daylight execution of a healthcare executive because they're getting so fed up. We need to pay attention to that one. All right. Another thing we need to pay attention to is the ineptitude of the federal government. In North Carolina, we've talked about this story quite a bit. I talked to a man yesterday who was in North Carolina, and he saw some of those FEMA shower trailers that had finally been brought to one city in North Carolina. They had generators there. The generators were running. The showers were there, and nobody was using them. I don't know. I didn't catch how long the time frame was. You've got showers there. You've got generators running. Nobody's using them. That points to me that there needs to be communication from the federal government to the local officials about, okay, where do we put the generators? Where do we put the showers? Do we need showers? Do we need what do we need? There seems to be a total lack of communication from the federal government to the local level. I know the localities have been erased from the earth because of the biblical flooding that occurred in North Carolina. But it speaks to the inability of the federal government to come in, assess the situation, and affect positive results for the American people. That's why Americans put Donald Trump back in the White House. So let's have some TV news reports here. This one from WTVC. FEMA won't answer questions on housing. Classic example of the inability of the federal government to be held accountable for their actions or lack of actions.
Nearly 500 families have already been approved for direct housing assistance. Yet, we have 14 families occupying units in Buncombe, Haywood, McDowell, and Henderson counties.
Just a fraction of the 1,000 people FEMA says in Buncombe motels and hotels right now. On a briefing, we asked.
There are concerns in our community that there is a massive crisis brewing for people who do not have FEMA housing, temporary housing. What is the status on FEMA bringing trailers to our community?
We're very well aware of the challenges in front of us. We do have more than 1,000 people in Buncombe County right now who are being sheltered in our transitional sheltering assistance program.
Officials speak for hotels.
There is reporting that's going on right now that FEMA only has 27 trailers in this area.
So the mobile units are in the process. We started at 14 and now we're at 27.
We would be grateful if FEMA could be very transparent about what the progress is. Are these having to be built?
As we look at bringing in mobile units, there are a number of different complicating factors.
FEMA.
Oh, there's a number of different complicating factors, like we don't know what the heck we're doing is one of those. WBTV reporter, FEMA apologizes for not doing their job.
I spent the day today trying to nail down exactly when the promised temporary trailers and manufactured homes will be delivered to Helene survivors. Last week, FEMA told me that they expected 103 trailers and manufactured homes to be turned over to survivors by Thanksgiving or in the few days that followed. At that point, they had already delivered 27. We checked back in with FEMA today, and they said that they've only delivered a total of 46 homes. That's less than half of what they said that they expected to have delivered by this time this week. However, this afternoon in a phone call, FEMA apologized, saying that the agency shouldn't have given a timeline and that while those homes are in process, they cannot give a timeline for their delivery.
Okay, this is why Americans are upset. This is why they put Donald Trump back into the White House. Let's go to another video and let's talk to a pastor on the ground. This is from a podcast called War for Truth. And this is going to be a rather long video, but it is a pastor saying he's on the ground. He's boots on the ground. I'm here. I'm a pastor in North Carolina. Most of the help is coming from churches, nonprofits across America. People there are resistant, hesitant to really, they don't want to make FEMA mad because, hey, they need help and we'll take help from wherever we get it. If FEMA comes and gives us help, great. But when you talk to them time and time and time again, most of the help is not coming from the government. Most of the help is coming from Americans, businesses. They're building roads. They're coming with their bulldozers and their trucks and their hammers and their nails from all across the world to help the people of North Carolina. It is not your government. It is people. Listen to this video.
You are the pastor. Lovely.
Do you mind if I video while you're talking, Pastor?
Oh, yeah. That's
all right.
How y'all doing? You doing okay? We are. We're from Alabama and Georgia, and we've been helping for a couple of weeks now, and we just dropped off some stuff at Swannanoa at the Eagle Rock, and then we had dropped some stuff off here. And so we've got lots of questions. We take back your stories to our states because we don't want this to die. We want people to know.
The need is still, it's still here. We let's see, today's Tuesday, we're having service today, but Saturday we had a guy come down. I was on the phone with Beth from 106.9 The Light down here in Black Mountain at the Billy Graham Cove. Her husband manages the station, and she did a three-way call with a guy. He's living in his car. He lost everything he had. Well, his neighbor's the son, the only son they've got, and mom and dad. Mom and dad lost their home right above it. Well, the neighbor that lost their home came down and got that other man a camper Saturday. We had it waiting on him. People have given campers to be given out. We're not giving them. We're just distributing but people just come bring them a camper and say, give this out to the need. So we sent that up the other day, Saturday. We're seeing things like that all the time. I had a call from a school teacher out of Black Mountain here right next to Swannon. She called me and I called her back. She said there's a family that half of their house is gone. They had put plywood up. They're living in half their house right now. Half their house. And that part's damaged too. They have no heat. They have no electricity. So we got another camper coming in Friday. And I told her, I said, get with them. We're going to try to get that to them as quick as possible. It's supposed to get cold here in the mountains.
Yes. What's the need you see most right now going forward?
Well,
and we're at what, couple days before Thanksgiving. So
we see roof damage from trees also.
Okay.
We see there's going to be some people here on Thanksgiving Day that are going to be serving 300 Thanksgiving meals right here on the property.
Great.
Church.
And what's the name of this church again, real quick?
This is God's Way Baptist Church,
okay.
Swannon, North Carolina. I'm Johnny Raines, pastor here.
Okay.
And but we're seeing a lot of needs like that. We're seeing people having to get mold
mold issues, yeah,
and roof damage due to trees as well. We're seeing other people still living in pretty bad conditions.
Are there? I hear people living in tents. Is that still true in some areas?
I don't think it's as much as it was, but it's still true. There's a lot of tents here, so there's still a lot. I'll put it that way. A lot left.
A lot left.
Need to happen. We need to try. We're trying our best to.
So where's the help coming from most? Local people, or are you getting more help from FEMA? I mean, we've heard some reports about FEMA. What do you?
We're getting some local people, but we're a lot of people from out of state. We've had phone calls. We've had people come here from Texas, Colorado, Idaho, Michigan, Maine, all the way to southern Florida, and all the states around here, around North Carolina, you name it, Pennsylvania. Virginia, a lot of Virginia.
And they're coming on their own.
Georgia.
They're just coming on their own.
And they're coming and helping. They're bringing supplies. We're giving out a lot of heaters. Even though some people got their power back on, they're still having heating issues.
Okay.
Because of damage.
Okay. What kind of heaters are best? I mean, I realize everyone.
Mostly your propane buddy heaters.
Okay.
Inside and out heaters.
Okay.
We're giving them out, and we're giving out some electric heaters to those that have power. But it's just, it's been unreal. The reach out has been amazing. It just breaks my heart. We have had people come through this line. They break down and just cry. They've lost a loved one. They've lost their home. They've lost all their possessions. And we prayed with them right here on the property coming through. And it's just, God help us. It just tears our heart out because we just see, God help us to be there. Help us to be there.
Amen.
And we see the need. And we're just... but
and if you wanted, if people we're from Alabama, she's from Georgia. If someone wanted to come with a small church to help, what would you tell them? What would you tell a pastor from a state of Alabama, little, small to medium church? What would we do to help?
Well, right now we're having a lot of volunteers. We're shorthanded today to man these containers.
Okay.
And we give out.
And these containers are all full of different stuff.
And we got also some trailers and containers offsite.
And they were donated to you?
No,
after the storm?
We're renting some.
Okay.
So we've got the rental fee. That one was donated, but those two are rented. All these buildings are rented. Those were just borrowed. We got to give them back. The buildings, if nobody wants to buy them out. Some of the people said they'd buy them. They're pretty nice buildings. But the fact is, we're taking monetary donations, money donations to the church, and we're using that to help. We've got a lot of clothes, but we're not really taking many clothes at all but they're jackets and coats. We still got a lot, but they're going out. They're going out. People are coming to get.
So
clothes.
you are taking coats.
But
then.
we fought with a windstorm the other day, and it took one of our tents away.
Oh.
It just does some damage, but the Lord's been good through all this.
Yes.
But we're taking, like I said, we're going through a lot of paper supplies, paper towels, toilet paper, plasticware, plates. We're going through a lot of products like blankets, pillows, a lot of heaters, just stuff like that. And there's a lot of other stuff in here too. A lot of food. Going through a lot of non-perishable food.
So you do have a good flow through, and people come and like at the church we were just at, they come in and take, and then just come back another day.
Yeah, we're trying to schedule those. I'm getting a lot of calls sometimes. Right now I'm getting around 10 or so calls a day from out of state. But it was there for a while. I was getting 20 and 30 calls a day, which is great.
To come
here and help. To come here.
Okay, all right. Pause. Where's the federal government? Where's the point of control? Where's the federal government swooping in? Where's the cavalry? Where's the coordination? The pastor got 20, 30 calls a day from Americans. Hey, we're here from Idaho. What do we do? Who do we send? What do you need? The federal government should be, hey, we're the federal government and we're here to help. That is a joke because they're not. I talked to Gunny Cole a week or so ago, and his position with FEMA is, hey, I don't want to be overly critical, but they not only dropped the ball, they never picked it up in the first place. Time and time with these interviews in North Carolina, it just makes me furious. The federal government has so much money. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine to help them. And yet the people in North Carolina, hey, they're just sent to fend for themselves. It's like watching a bunch of ants just scurry around trying to fix things. These people are well-intended. They've got every best intention at heart, and God bless them. They're trying to do something. We're here to help. What do you need? Do you need a shovel? Do you need a drink of water? What do you need? The federal government should come in and say, okay, we're going to have a point of control. We're going to have an incident command. This is a big incident. We're going to bring in the resources of the military. We're going to help these people. We're not going to let them just sit here and day after day after day, night after night after night, live in tents in the freezing cold of North Carolina while we send billions of dollars to Ukraine. I'm not saying we shouldn't send money to Ukraine, but I am saying that we have dropped the ball big time in North Carolina. This is People's Exhibit A of why we need major change in the federal government. Federal government can't even protect the President of the United States, the Secret Service. 20-year-old kid scampers up on the roof. We see it in video from somebody with their phone. We can see his head bobbing as he's taking position to take a shot at the President of the United States. Two classic examples of how the federal government is not doing their job. They have become so burdened with regulations, so there's just no accountability. Nobody's in charge. It's finger pointing. And this North Carolina flooding lack of coordinated federal response is almost criminal. It is a total abject failure of our federal government to do their job, to protect American citizens, to provide a coordinated response in the events of FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. We should call it the Federal Emergency Mismanagement Agency. I watch video after video after video, and I'm just blown away by our federal government. We need to go in there and we need to kick some hiney, and we need to say, okay, did you do this? You're fired. And Donald Trump, God love him, he's going to go in there and do that. Day one, close the border. And one of the things I'm watching, there's several things they're going to have to do on day one. You saw Joe Biden when he first took office. He had this stack of executive orders on his desk. Donald Trump needs to go and say, okay, inauguration, let's go over here. Roll up the desk. Bring me the pen. Okay, executive orders. Help North Carolina. Go. Close the border. Go. Tom Horman, go. If there are criminals committing crimes in America, find them and kick them out. We've got a federal government that is not doing their job. And a new sheriff is in town, and Donald Trump, you may not like him, but man, we cannot continue operating the federal government as we are because they're not doing their job. They're not helping people. I am so, a lady showed me a picture, and they're going to buy me this picture. They're going to buy me a mug, a coffee mug. Says, I wake up every morning and I'm glad Donald Trump is the President of the United States. I am. Because Donald Trump, I believe, is a man of his word. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Hey, were you responsible for that Afghanistan withdrawal where we gave up Bagram Air Base? Did you sign off on that? You're fired. Out. Pack up. I want you out by the end of the day. That's the guy Donald Trump is going to be. That's the guy Joe Biden wasn't, and that's why we're in the danger that we are in America, and that's why we're on the verge of World War III. All right. Enough of the ranting. I've been told I rant. Some people like my rant, some don't. If you don't, I guess there's other podcasts to listen to. But there's issues in America that we've got to address. How would you feel if you're freezing every day in a tent in the snow and the rain in North Carolina, wondering when somebody's going to come and help you, wondering when this mighty federal government, you turn on the radio, oh, we sent another $1 billion in arms to the Ukrainian people. Hey, I'd just like a blanket. I would just like someplace warm to sleep tonight. Where's this billions of dollars to help the Ukraine? Donald Trump, day one, executive orders on the table. Help North Carolina. Go. That's what needs to happen, and I think it will with Donald Trump. Okay. Last story we want to cover is something called Wreaths Across America. I love veterans. I think the character of a nation is defined by how we take care of those who fight and die for our freedom, how we take care of our veterans, how we remember our veterans. Wreaths Across America happens every December, and they put Christmas wreaths on the grave sites of veterans. I'm sure they're going to be doing a ceremony here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're going to be in Gainesville, Georgia, doing a live streamcast from a Wreaths Across America event at a cemetery. We're going to talk to people. We're going to find out more about this organization. This is a great thing. It's been going on for years. The Christmas season. Some people are not with us in our families because they've died in service to their country. We should not forget them. Wreaths Across America. This Saturday, hopefully at a cemetery near you. Look up the website and see what you can do to support them. We'll have a live streamcast this Saturday, December 14th. And we will, at least in Gainesville, Georgia, show you what's going on. Let's check it out.
We gather here today to place over 24,000 holiday wreaths to remember the fallen, honor those who served, and to teach our children the value of freedom.
As you place that wreath, take the time to look at that name. A lot of these stones don't have people anymore to come by and pay respect.
You'd be proud, just like we are. Thank you.
Yeah. Michael Martino was a Marine Cobra pilot who died heroically while flying a combat mission in Iraq.
Even a year after it's happened, every day is just so tough to get through. There's always constant memories, but then you come out here and see something like this that people are doing for your son and other soldiers that are other servicemen. It makes it easier.
It brings a tear to my eye to see people come together. We bury a lot of folks here. We did a funeral yesterday, and this is a good opportunity to do something other than bury our comrades, to pay honor and respect them, and so it's kind of a special moment today. I'm a Vietnam era draftee. When I came back to the United States, we didn't wear uniforms. We were instructed to take our uniforms off. Now, wherever I go, we get a lot of support. Everybody, I believe, understands that these men and women give everything for their country, and this is an opportunity, I think, just to give a little bit back.
I watched this mother and a little boy place a wreath on one of the stones, and I remember thinking, someday when the words in his name are all worn off, there still will be someone who will come by and pay their respects to my son's memory. And this is the impact and the reason why I continue to work with Wreaths Across America.
We've been laying wreaths here at Arlington since 1992. This is our 15th year. I'm from Harrington, Maine. Our business is making Christmas wreaths and other Christmas decorations. I wanted to give back, and it's because of the freedom that we all have is why I can do what I do, and everybody else can do what they do, but I just wanted to give back.
After 9/11, we all came together and remembered that we loved the country and we loved our freedom, and we understood that. And then, then we got busy again and got complacent. We're a grateful nation. We just got to show it.
I don't want to let my brother's name be forgotten, and nobody should let anybody that's killed over here their name forgotten or forgot what they did.
Ultimately, it's all about saying thank you to everyone in here.
In life, they honored their country. In death, country honors them.
A beautiful gesture of gratitude for those who gave us the ultimate gift.
And Hannah, you were there.
yesterday.
Wow. Wreaths Across America this Saturday. This is an example of Americans at their best. This is Americans that care. This is Americans who will remember family and friends and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. I think that we should start taking money away from the federal government. I love the Doge effort. Let's suck away some of that money from the federal government and let's put it into programs like Wreaths Across America, like Habitat for Humanity, building homes. Let's figure out a way to take money from this megatropolis in Washington, D.C. that is sucking our wallets dry. And let's put it into programs like this. Boots on the ground, where we remember those brave men and women who gave so much for this country. So Wreaths Across America is this Saturday. We'll have a live event Saturday. We normally don't have live events Saturday, but we will this Saturday for Wreaths Across America. We love our veterans. We have two companies here, Street Level America, which is a news advocacy company based in Chattanooga, Tennessee, reaching out into America. It's a for-profit, and we do accept your donations, your advertising. Send me an email, dave@streetlevelamerica.com, if you'd like to advertise support. USA Heartbeat is 501c3, nonprofit. We cannot take a political stance on Heartbeat. But Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who serve and leaving no one behind, tells the story of veterans. That's under USA Heartbeat, which is a 501c3. You can donate to that at that website as well. And we'll be there at Gainesville with both of those companies represented, Street Level America and USA Heartbeat. We love to tell the story of veterans. We'll be telling more of those stories in days to come. Hey, a couple things we need to tell you before we leave. Okay. Sponsors for Street Level America. My Forever Memories. This is a memory box. You can put pictures in it, put it in a grave site. It's designed to withstand the weather. And so you can put pictures there of the person that's buried at the grave site. Or what a new use for the memory box is I have 3 of these on my desk. And these are my family photos. Okay, that's my mom. That's my best friend in high school and me graduate. And that's my brother, my mom, and I. Okay, so this is on my desk at work, at my work. You can and so I had boxes of pictures under my bed that I never watched, that I never looked at. So I put them in the memory box, and every so often I change these. And see, I got some more back there. You can buy the memory box at Amazon.com, $29.95, I believe is the price on it now. And put pictures in it. Put it on your desk. Go to Amazon.com, MB-001 Memories Box, and you can get a memory box. Put it on the grave site. Put it on your desk with pictures in it. So check that out. There's some books that are available. That we want to tell you about. And we're going to have these people on the show at some point in the future. Here's a book. Buck Sergeant Robertson lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thailand, 1967-1968. You can buy this on Amazon.com, and we're going to have him on the program. And he was in Thailand talking about his experiences there. There's pictures. One of the things that he did is he wrote down airplane numbers and pilot names of people who went on missions and didn't come back. And he documented that because he didn't want us to forget who they were. So that's this book. It's available at Amazon.com. Buck Sergeant Robertson, Thailand, 1967-1968. Here's another book. Charles D. Matherson also lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee. One Man's Struggle for Life in Vietnam and Beyond. A War Still Raging. There's him in his younger days. You can buy this also on Amazon.com. A War Still Raging. This book is called Marines in the Pacific, the story of M.T. Haynes. Some family friends. M.T. Haynes is no longer with us, but he was a Marine who served in the Pacific. He wanted to publish stories, and he wanted to be a cartoon. He wanted to write cartoons. Like, see? Right there? His books were never published, and he had a manuscript. The family gave it to me, and we published it on Amazon. This is Marines in the Pacific, the story of M.T. Haynes, and all of the money generated from the sale of this book goes to help support Operation Eagle's Wings, which is under our 501c3 of USA Heartbeat. And we think one of the things we wanted to do with the M.T. Haynes story was get that story published. That was his wish. He never saw it happen during his lifetime, but it is now published and available for people to read. It's a love story. The only thing I did was just kind of edit it for context, but the words are his. It's his story, M.T. Haynes, and you can get that at Amazon.com. He fell in love in Australia, and he talks about his real-life experiences of fighting for America as a Marine in the Pacific Theater. Interesting read, about 80 pages long, and then you can see his drawings. While he was there in a combat area, he would draw, and he wanted to be a cartoonist. That's what he wanted to be, but he was a soldier and a grandparent and a father, and he passed on before he could realize his dream, but we helped make that dream possible with publishing that book. So, some books to think about. We do ask you to support us so we can continue to stay on the air, and My Forever Memories is one of our sponsors right now. We're looking for more sponsors. If you're interested, go to our website, streetlevelamerica.com or usaheartbeat.com. That's going to wrap it up for today. We got a meeting we got to go to at 9:30. God bless you. Remember, Wreaths Across America this Saturday. Pray for America. Get involved, and let's make this nation great again. Make America great again is not a bad thing. That's the premise on which Donald Trump ran for office, on which he was resoundingly elected, because Americans want to make this nation great again. We want health care we can afford. We want cars we can afford. We want groceries we can afford. We want to help our friends and neighbors in North Carolina and across the world, but we got to take care of our home folks. We need secure borders. We need to make this nation great again. This is Street Level America. I'm Dave Adams. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. It is December 11th, 2024. This is America Now and Forever. This is Street Level America. I'm Dave Adams.